What is hatching, Toga Peeps? Tuppleton coming at you today with the very first edition of a free-for-all Friday version of Competitively Casual Pokemon Podcast. And with me always is Mr. Ricochet.
What's going on, Toga Peeps?
Alright, well, I'm sure some of you have noticed it's been a couple of weeks since the last episode of the Competitively Casual Pokemon Podcast. We've had a few scheduling difficulties.
Sorry.
Yeah. Real life things go on sometimes, you know. But it was all for the good and none for the bad, so that's a good thing. Alright, so a lot has happened in the two and a half weeks since we've uploaded a video, and we're going to touch on quite a few of the major things here. A couple things have been brought up about the old games. Nintendo is going to be discontinuing Wi-Fi service for a large list of DS, DSi, and the old Wii games.
It is quite the list.
And that makes me sad-faced, because that means we will no longer be able to go back and battle with 4th Gen games, which is Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver, which is my personal favorite.
Actually, it also affects the 5th Gen games too. So white, black, 2, white 2.
Yeah, but those games sucked.
Affected. Yes, well, this is true.
That's what I could give a crap about the 5th Gen games not being playable anymore, but the 4th Gen, which was my bread and butter of the competitive Pokemon, it hurts not being able to go back and play when Explosion was one of the best moves in the freaking game. So many good movesets with that. But
not just those titles being affected though. There's also the Mystery Dungeon titles.
Oh yeah.
Explorers of Time, Darkness, and Sky. The Pokemon Ranger, Guardian Signs, Shadows of Volmia, Pokemon Conquest. None of those titles will be able to be played online now, so the online features will be inaccessible.
You know, I played very few of the Ranger games, and even, about the same amount of the Mystery Dungeon games. I don't know that I ever actually did the online aspect of those.
It was mostly just downloading special missions and stuff. I mean...
Right. Having your friends save you in the freaking dungeon.
Yeah, I know one of the Mystery Dungeon games, that's how you downloaded the Manaphy Egg quest and whatnot, so...
Oh, that was the first Ranger game.
It might have been the first Ranger game, yeah. So I know that the other Ranger games had similar download quests like that. So yeah, it just kind of sucks because now you can't go back and get them.
Right.
Well, you can right now. As of May 20th, you cannot. So I mean, there's still still a couple months before this all takes effect.
And knowing Nintendo, they probably won't go back on this. So, if you want to get some 4th Gen battling in over Wi-Fi, get your butt on Wi-Fi and do it now. Because you've only got, 2 months, 3 months?
Just under 3 months, so as of the 20th.
So, that's a bummer.
Yep.
That makes me sad. But, now you know. So get that, or if even Battle Revolution. We didn't mention Battle Revolution. I love Wi-Fi battling on Battle Revolution. That too.
Yeah,
so
on
get
the
that
Wii,
out of the way. Yeah.
Yeah, the DS and DSi, and Wii, you will not be able to.
Right. This does not affect any of the 3DS games, so you don't have to worry about that.
X and Y are safe.
Right. Now, just so we're clear about this, and it has been mentioned by others, I saw Moody Pones post a video about this earlier. You cannot play like Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver on the 3DS and the Wi-Fi still work. It affects the game, not the actual console itself.
Right. If it's a DS game, then you cannot play it online anymore. So the DS
Yes.
servers will be shut down.
Yes. And there's a huge list on Nintendo.com of all the crap that they're hacking the online services for.
Yeah, Mario Kart being amongst them, you know. So I mean, it's affecting not just Pokemon, but everything.
Yes, it is affecting a wide variety of Nintendo users. But Nintendo's a business, and they want people using their new systems and the new games, so they slowly have to discontinue the use of the old ones. Which is sad, but unfortunately that is the nature of the capitalist beast. Anyways, an old revisit to a Pokemon puzzle game is going to be coming out in the future.
Love this. I'll go ahead with the announcement.
Yeah,
Pokemon,
and you had...
I love this game. So the original game was a lot of fun. I'm actually excited about some of the features that it appears that they're adding to the new one. But Pokemon Battle Trozy is actually coming out March 20th here in North America. And it will be released on the 3DS eShop for only $7.99.
That's ridiculously cheap if it has as many levels as the original game.
I do know, I don't know how many levels that they said it has, but I do know that they said it's set to feature all 718 Pokemon that have been released to date.
That's insane.
So, with the exception of a Pokemon we'll be talking about shortly, yeah, all 718 Pokemon released to date will be featured in this game.
Mm.
Now, some of the features that I've seen so far, like the Pokemon boss battles, you can battle against. I mean, the previous game was just like a puzzle game where you connect so many together and it frees that Pokemon. So there was a little story behind behind Trozy. The battle game, the Battle Trozy, looks like you're just trying to collect Pokemon by getting 3 or more in a row chained together. Now, like I was saying, you could battle boss Pokemon. I know they showed Charizard, they showed Rayquaza.
Rayquaza's a boss.
Yes, they've got... There's several screenshots. There's a video online of the boss Pokemon that you could battle, and basically all you do is continually link Pokemon together to attack this boss Pokemon. Eventually, his health goes all the way down, and you capture him automatically. Then
that's nice.
Which is cool. Yeah, there's no simplistic in nature as to how you go about doing it, but from the looks of the video that I've seen online, it looks a little challenging too. So it's
that's good.
Like the previous games. So, but yeah, that's a little tidbit here. That's coming out here in just 20 days.
Mm-hmm.
So on the 20th.
So we can look forward to that.
I'll be challenging people once it's out. So open challenges. Don't care.
It's definitely one of those nice little spin-off games that caught its own little niche that was actually fun to play.
Right.
But something else that is going to be new, and this isn't actually in the game department, this is more in the anime/cartoon department. Netflix is finally going to be premiering the the first full season?
First 2 full seasons.
The entire Indigo Plateau series then.
Pretty much, yes. So you'll be able to watch it all the way up through where Gary beats Ash's ass, which makes me happy.
Yeah. And so, if you're one of like the 5 people in the entire world that doesn't own that on DVD, get yourself Netflix, and you can stream it all day long. So, that's always exciting because so many people have Netflix, and Netflix is ridiculously cheap for the service they provide. I mean, it beats renting movies hands down.
Absolutely.
And we aren't even sponsored by Netflix, but we would like to be. Anyways,
They could throw a sponsor out for us. That'd be
yeah,
cool.
I wouldn't mind. Free subscription. So, anyways, yeah. So Netflix, Trowsy, the online services are going down. Oh, something.
Pretty much brings us to one last big piece of news that has been announced since our last podcast.
Say we missed one, and this is older news. Nintendo announced, and this is like a week or two ago, that if you buy a 3DS, a 3DS XL, a 2DS, and one of like 5 exclusive games, and you go to, what is it, Club Nintendo?
Club Nintendo, yep.
And you register them, you qualify for a free downloadable copy of either X or Y if you don't have it already, or if you still have, those annoying pamphlets that come
With
behind all your freaking games that say, oh, join Nintendo Club, blah, 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 blah. Find those. See if you got the right kind of games. See if you still got them for your 3DS, your 3DXL, your 3D or 2DS. Go register your crap. I think you got till, the end of next month to do this?
I think so. I think it's the month of March.
And I have heard the downloadable copies of X and Y are glitchy, but hell, it's better than having no copies.
Yeah, if you're one of the few that haven't picked up X or Y yet, this is a good incentive to get a 3DS, either model, or a 2DS being the cheaper model.
Right.
You can get a game with it, and then you can get Pokemon. So,
right,
which is probably the best game available on the platform. I mean, there's Animal Crossing, I think, is one of them. It's another really good title.
Yeah,
pretty much between Animal Crossing and Pokemon, you won't have much time on your hands to play other games, but...
Okay, I just made it to the page. Yoshi's New Island, Animal Crossing New Leaf, Lego City Undercover The Chase Begins, Super Mario 3D Land, Donkey Kong Country Returns, or Mario Kart 7 are the qualifiable games that you can use. And I know...
Just about every one of those is a good game, too.
Oh, right, exactly. And I mean, who doesn't like Mario Kart? If you don't have Mario Kart 7, all the more reason to go get it. And even if you already have a copy of one of the Pokemon games, you can get a copy of the other one. I'm looking forward to get a copy of X. I have Y, played through it, enjoy it, but I want to get... this is one of the few series where I've looked forward to getting both games to play through. I mean, I haven't done that since the Heart Gold Soul Silver remakes. But,
And with that, yes, there's one last piece of news. Has been several weeks. I think it broke right after we did our last podcast that the next Pokemon movie will be revealing a new Pokemon. So we'll be probably having some sort of download event down the road here, but Deontay is coming.
Mm-hmm.
So Deontay is a rock and fairy type Pokemon. It stars in the new movie, which is titled Cocoon of Destruction and Deontay. At least that's from the Japanese translation.
Yeah, that's a rough translation they throw up on Cerebi. Those are never right.
Right. So it's not inaccurate, but that's the rough translation right now.
Right.
There's no details on its distribution at this time.
The only thing I've seen is that it will be a Wi-Fi downloadable.
Right. So they're going to do it somehow.
I'd imagine it would probably be shortly after the movie drops. They'll probably do it when the movie drops in Japan, if it hasn't already. I don't know when the dates are for that. And then we'll probably get it like 2-3 months later. That's usually how those work.
Yeah, they were saying... I know they put up on the main Pokemon site that details are coming soon, so...
Mm-hmm. Dude, the main Pokemon site's ages behind every other Pokemon news site.
Actually, I remember when they announced Deontay, a few weeks back, I checked my phone because I was reading about it through Cerebi and whatnot, and I checked my phone, and they actually had updated Pokemon.com with information on it that same day. So, because this game came out at the same time worldwide and everything, I think everything else is, news and everything else is going to drop at the same time too. So, we might see the new movies released around the same time. So it's hard to say.
I don't know. The movies have always been ages apart with their releases.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they got to translate everything. But, yeah, Deontay?
Boils down, yeah. Deontay is a rock fairy type. It states that it is a sudden transformation of the Pokemon Carbink. And that its body is said to be the loveliest sight in the world. Groups of Carbink tend to gather around Deontay, but Deontay pays them little heed and acts only according to its own will. So that seems to be like the rundown from PokemonXY.com.
Mm. But Deontay's genderless, which means it's going to be unbreedable, which means it will be an event exclusive. So it's going to be just like Deoxys. There's only one way to get it, just like the original Space Center downloads.
Unless one could make an argument that Deontay could be breedable with Dittos, much like Manaphy was, to get maybe Deontay will breed out Carbinks.
But I doubt it.
Evolve into it.
I doubt it. I mean, as of right now, it doesn't have an egg group.
That's true, but it hasn't also been.
Actually, I've seen it in game. Not in my game, but I mean
the hackers.
Yeah, but I mean, even a hacked version would be able to breed if it's hacked.
No, that's true.
And all the information.
I haven't read anything. Like I said, there's still a hopefulness to maybe they'll do something like that.
Well, yeah, I don't know why you'd want to breed this thing, though. Competitively speaking, its 4 times weakness to steel automatically eliminates it from OU as long as Scizor is running around.
Right.
I mean, knocks it out. 2 times weak to grass, 2 times weak to water, 2 times weak to ground. Has a fair amount of resistances. Resists dark, immune to dragon, resists bug, resists flying, resists fire, and resists normal, which, I mean, that's a nice handful. But unfortunately, the ground and grass and water and steel types go running rampant in OU.
And steel types have become more commonplace, because of the fairy type and everything, so.
Yeah. Especially with freaking Klefki running around. Hate that thing. But, this Deontay gets an exclusive move, which, I mean, befits its descriptions and its being Jewel type-esque, called Diamond Storm, which is actually a rock type move. And the flavor text for that is: a user whips up a storm of diamonds to damage opposing Pokemon. This may also raise the user's defense stat. And it's got 100 base power, 95 accuracy. It only has 5 power points, which is the amount of times you can use it. But the percentage on the stat boost is 50%. And that is freaking nice.
So you only really need to use it 2-3 times at most to get max defense out of it.
Yeah, and looking over the base stats that they have on Cerebi.com, which these are probably preliminary, but these are the best guess from what they've seen through the hackable Pokemon. And these are going to be base stats. It's got a base stat total of 600. It's got 50 HP, which is not fantastic. 100 attack, which is respectable. 150 defense, which is awesome, 100 special attack, which is, again, average at best, 150 special defense, which means this thing is going to be a freaking wall.
Yep.
It's going to be... I mean, and it's got a pretty... I don't want to say it's got an awesome move pool, but it's got a pretty decent one. 50 speed is going to leave it lacking, which make it nice for Trick Room, because it could come... I don't know if it actually has Trick Room. It does. It has access to Trick Room.
It actually learns Trick Room at... Let's see, what level is that? It learns Trick Room at level 46.
46, so it could come... I mean... If this thing was able to be used VGC... I think it would be nice. Because, I mean, it's huge defenses. You can come in and set up Trick Room. Trick Room is already prevalent in most VGC competition. I mean, it's got decent stabs.
Yeah, that's, I mean, like, it's got, access to Moon Blast, which is the new Super Fairy move.
Yeah.
95 damage, 100 accuracy. So with that decent looking special attack stat, then Diamond Storm, I mean, it learns Moon Blast and Diamond Storm at level 50 together, so only problem is that Moon Blast is a special attack, Diamond Storm is physical, and looking through the rest of its move pool, when you look at the TMs and stuff, it's not too terrible as far as looks like it learns a fair amount of both physical and special, so...
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't learn a variety of type attacks. Everything is pretty much normal, psychic, rock.
Which is a type for it.
Right, but not, I mean, it gets access to Gyro Ball, which is nice, because, I mean, it's slower than balls. But, I mean, unfortunately, it looks like it doesn't have a physical... Fairy type move? Or did I miss that in its learnable moves? No, the only Fairy type move it learns is Moon Blast.
Yeah, the only Fairy type move that's physical too, I believe, is Play Rough, so...
Oh man, it doesn't even learn a physical Fairy type move.
Yeah.
That would be nice if it did. But I mean, the majority of its good moves are physical attacks. But again, almost all of those moves are either rock or normal.
Well, like you said earlier, too, this thing is going to be used as a wall. So its defense and special defense cannot be ignored. This thing's going to wall the hell out of just about anything that you mentioned that's not, that it resists. So
right.
It's got a lot of resistances that it can wall against, so...
Well, you know what I'm looking at right now? That I like. I mean, weak to water, weak to grass, weak to ground. With the exception of the steel, I think the Lottie twins would pair up with this pretty good resistance-wise. Resist the bug, completely immune to the dragon attacks, resist the dark type attacks that the Lotties are weak to. Unfortunately, it doesn't resist Fairy or Ghost. But I mean, an interesting mix. But again, that would be if you use it in OU.
And Ghost is an issue because I've seen a lot of people like using that Mega Gengar.
Yeah, it just got banned in OU.
Did it finally?
Yeah, well, I mean, a Shadow Tag ability just made it too good.
Okay, that's what I was getting at, was Shadow Tag would wreck it, so...
Oh, that's something we actually forgot to mention in the news, was the Smogon bans. While we were gone, Smogon banned Genesect and what the heck's it called? Lucario Knight. Whatever the Lucario Mega Stone is banned, because Mega Lucario was banned along with Genesect. I think we all knew Genesect was going to get rebanned shortly after it was unbanned, just because it's so freaking good. But yeah, Lucario, Mega Lucario got banned. So the string of Mega bans just keeps getting longer and longer. With Mega Blaziken, Mega Kangaskhan, Mega Gengar, now Mega Lucario. I think I probably missed one in there. But it seems like we're just waiting for the next one to step up. I'm really hoping that the metagame kind of stabilizes a little bit, because I mean, all we're doing is saying, hey, batter up, who's next, who's going to hit the hardest, and pretty much banning them. But I mean, that's generally what happens at the beginning of every generation. And considering we haven't even had this a full year yet, I think it's probably a little bit too hopeful to see the OU metagame stabilize just yet. Especially since I don't think the metagame stabilized it all in 5th gen, and it was out for what, 2.5 years? Because it wasn't long between the generations this year.
I think it came out in 2010 or 2011. So yeah, it's been...
So three maybe... I don't think it's been quite 4.
I think Black and White came out in 2011, so...
Okay. So a good 3 years.
Yeah.
But, yeah, those were the Smogon bands while we were gone.
We've pretty much touched on Deontay, so that's...
Yeah, and unfortunately, as awesome as it looks to be at first look, it really lacks attacks. Like I said, but it being a wall, I mean, I'm sure it will be I don't know if it has... Does it have reliable recovery? I didn't even look at that. I'm sure it has rest. I mean, everything gets rest. Yep, there's rest. The hell does it learn? Does it learn that?
I see guard split.
Yeah.
That's more defensive though.
Well, yeah, but you don't want that with it having the higher defenses, because it splits its own with the... I mean, you come in with a frail Pokemon, you're just screwing yourself. It
Right.
doesn't. It doesn't have a reliable recovery move outside of rest, which freaking sucks.
Yeah, I have expected Moonlight or something to be on it.
Right. Oh well. Alright, enough with Deontay. It's fairly lackluster.
But we can use Deontay to roll into the Pokemon of the week.
Yes, and we are going to do that. The Pokemon type of the week we are going with this week is Rock type, following the theme from last week where we did fairies and then fairy types. So,
because Deontay is a rock fairy type and we've already done fairy types, we might as well just roll with the rock type.
Yeah. So, and we are, in this, what we are going to list, we are excluding the fossils from the possible rock types we can pick from, because we are going to do fossils in another episode, because we love the fossils so much we couldn't pick with all the freaking fossils in there.
Absolutely.
And I think everybody's particular to their own fossils, but this isn't the fossil episode. We're going back to the rock type. So, rock types more known for their physical defensiveness than anything else, as well as being a little bit more physical offensively than special offensively. I think there's, 2 special rock type attacks, which is like Ancient Power and Power Gem. There aren't very many.
Yeah, I think so. Superpower is a ground move, isn't it?
No, Superpower is a fighting attack.
Okay. I'm just getting some of the attacks confused because of how similar they are in wording.
Yeah.
I'll let you go ahead and pick the which rock type you like.
Now, I should have taken more time and done a generational breakdown and picked one from each gen. But I'm going to name at least 2. And my all-time favorite rock type, which was one of my favorite 3rd gen Pokemon, is freaking Aggron.
Boom.
I love Aggron. I hate the fact that it's 4 times weak to fighting and ground, but I freaking love it. Mega Aggron, even though it's not rock type anymore, the steel type, oh my god, that thing is a boss.
Agreed. That's looking through the list and everything. I had noticed that Mega Aggron wasn't there, and then I realized that Aggron drops the rock type.
Right, and that makes it so much better. But we are talking about rock types. So another rock type I'm particularly fond of that actually also came out in 3rd gen was Relicanth. I don't know why I like this thing, because I'm not usually particularly fond of water types, but this freaking thing, Rockhead, Head Smash, all day, every day. Set up an agility, and just Head Smash all the things. And I'm going to stop there, because if I'm not, I'm going to list about 5 more. But yeah, I mean, rock types, if it's a rock type, it has to have Head Smash, and I'll love it forever.
Nice.
So, what's your spin on the rock types?
Well, I've got 2 particular rock types that I really like too. You had touched on Aggron, so I won't go there. I am going to go back into Gen 2.
Okay.
There's 2 in particular from Gen 2 that I really like. Tyranitar with the Rock Dark typing, and even going further into that now with the 6th Gen Mega Tyranitar, and how cool he looks. Tyranitar was like Dragonite, you know. He kind of fell between the trio, the legendary trio, and then the legendary cover Pokemon from first. You know, he fell between the 3 legendary dogs, or cats, whatever you want to call them, Raikou, Entei, and Suicune. And then he was, you know, he was after them, but before Lugia, Ho-Oh, and Celebi. So, kind of just made him a little mythical in that respect, kind of like Dragonite was. Harder to find, but once you did, my God, was he a beast. You know, Tyranitar's seen a lot of love in competitive battling with Sandstream up until 6th Gen dashing weather teams.
Oh, he's still running wild.
Yeah, I've figured as much. So probably more so than even a water team now, just because Sandstorm causes damage too. So.
Well, that's the Sandstream. I mean, granted, it is the longest. I mean, aside from the hail, the longest running continuous weather starter that isn't Uber's. So, I mean, it's tried and true.
Right.
It's been around and it's not going anywhere. It just has too many benefits to too many Pokemon.
So, there was Tyranitar. He was one of my favorites. But I'm going to go to the Pokemon that can cause the most amount of damage out of any Pokemon.
Oh, don't even tell me.
In any game, I've always been partial to Shuckle.
Ugh.
I've always been I like his look. He's just about garbage when you look at his. I mean, he's got what is it, like 230 in both defense and special defense. Only 10 in attack, in special attack. Only 5 in speed. Only 20 in hit points. So I mean, this thing was I don't know if it was a joke Pokemon. I know that I think, what is it, with its hidden ability Contrary, one of his moves causes like over 200 million in damage or something. I can't remember what the exact specs are. I know that he can cause, he is the Pokemon that can cause the most amount of damage in a game.
Yeah,
but you have to set him. You have to set him up, though. You have to set him up, though.
Yeah, in theory, he can. The Pokemon that can cause the most possible amount of damage in the game which is as close to a Phoebus sweep in Ubers. But yeah, I don't remember. It was a ridiculously long list of things that need to be passed to him with I don't remember what was it, a rollout.
I think with Contrary it needed I can't remember now. So I would have to look it up, but I know I've always liked Shuckle's look and everything. He really isn't that special of a Pokemon outside of the fact that you really can get him, if you can get him set up appropriately, you can do the most amount of damage out of any Pokemon in game that's not an Uber, like you said. So I've always kind of I have a shiny Shuckle in my game now, so I managed to get a shiny Shuckle. And he's like my little pride and joy. So he's got 6 IVs. He's a level 1. I haven't done nothing to train him. He's just kind of sitting there like, hey, look at me, I'm a showpiece.
Right.
So.
Okay. I think I may have found the scenario. Power Trick Shuckle.
Yeah, okay, it's Power Trick, yeah.
Okay, the way... Oh, God. It has to be in a double battle. The item he has to be holding is Metronome. It has to be roll out the 5th hit after its defense curled to power up the rollout. Maximize defense plus 6 levels prior to the Power Trick. You have to... the Power Trick has to be active. You have to skill swap to get pure power or huge power onto him. It has to be a critical hit. The target defense has to be reduced to 1 with defense down moves, such as like Screech. You need the Helping Hand bonus. You need the Nature boost in defense. And you need the best variance value possible. And the max damage that can be done, and this calculation was done as of last gen, so it may have changed, but this is what Cerebi has, or not Cerebi, I'm sorry. This is what Bulbapedia has as the highest possible attack. It is 320,844,078.
Amazing.
Yeah, and that's just stupid. But then again, it takes you an hour to set up everything I listed. It has to be a critical hit on the 5th rollout hit. Which, I mean, and at that point, everything you're killing freaking everything anyways.
Right.
But whatever. So that was Shuckle.
You don't fuckle with Shuckle.
Yeah, you don't fuckle with Shuckle. And I think that's going to wrap up our rock types.
Yes, that'll wrap up Pokemon of the Week, so that's,
Well, that was a really short episode.
Yeah, we kind of hit on everything, so we haven't done, Jerk of the Week yet.
We haven't done Jerk of the Week. You do Jerk of the Week, and I'm gonna scuffle through my notes and find everything that I've written down over the past 3 weeks that's come out for TCG.
Okay. Alright, that works. Yeah, we can end on TCG this week if we need to, so that's, I've got a few things to say about it as well. But the Jerk of the Week, comes via France.
Oh, jeez.
Username is Noust. And his little message is just THX, which translates to thanks. He's got a level 4 Bidoof on GTS right now.
Is it nicknamed? Is it nicknamed I Surrender?
No, it's nicknamed.
French joke. Teehee.
Should be. It's nicknamed actually. It's like Cunator or something like that. It's Keunotor. It's level 4. So this is a level 4 Bidoof. And I don't see anything special about this Bidoof, but he wants an Evoltol for it. So, because it's just silly to ask, and in Evoltol, I know you can get them online fairly cheap for other things. I don't think Bidoof is one of those things that you can cheaply get in Evoltol for. So for this reason, I am naming Noust, N-O-U-S-T, from France, the GTS Jerk of the Week.
You suck.
Hard.
Noust. Now, why do we have some French dude with a German-sounding name?
I know, right? Right.
Something
I
like
mean,
that.
that should be the first indication there.
Maybe the Germans are invading again.
You're gonna make them cry.
I'm not making anybody cry.
Now you are the Jerk of the Week. If you got a problem with that, if you ever come across this and you want to send us some love, send us some hate, I don't care. You are the Jerk of the Week because Bidoof, Bibarel, I feel, both suck. And you're not going to get any legendary for your Bidoof or Bibarel. So
you know what's going to happen? That dude is going to see this and post his freaking Evoltol, who'll be like, hey, guess what? Suck it. We'll be like, oh, owned by a Frenchman.
But we know that'll never happen, so.
Oh, right. But I mean...
So the French own nothing. Except for maybe French dip. I don't know.
I don't even think that was made there.
Oh,
that was made in Hidden Valley.
Nice.
Okay. So that's GTS Jerk of the Week. And just going to go over some quick notes from the TCG. The next set, which is the second in the XY series, which I think we've already said this before, is going to be called the Flashfire.
Flashfire, yep.
And they revealed the theme decks. And oh crap. I lost my spot that had the theme decks. I was right there. Oh, it's got, oh balls, what's that called? Heliolisk and, Meowstic as the two banner Pokemon for those decks. As of right now, they are called Flashfire and Wild Blaze, I think. But, I mean, that is the rough Japanese, translation so far.
I have seen that they that with this set of cards, yes, there's going to be a Mega Charizard card for each. There's going to be a Charizard EX, and it looks like the Mega EX is for both Charizards. I've also seen that they're doing a Mega Kangaskhan.
Yes.
So there's going to be
that
Kangaskhan
card actually
EX.
looks pretty badass too.
Yes, well, I'm looking at it now, and I see they have Wild Blaze written across the Mega Charizard X card, and they got, what is that, Gurren Dive written across the...
I think they renamed that Crimson Dive.
Could be Crimson Dive, so we'll see.
I think we might have mentioned that last time, because I think that was posted last time we did one of these. The Charizard ones, at least.
Like in, what is that? They've got something Gangan Punch or something written across the Kangaskhan Mega Kangaskhan card. So, I mean, I'm sure we're going to get better. I mean, the pictures are kind of fuzzy looking even. So
yeah, Poke Beach has the Gangan Punch attack for 3 colorless energy, which is a double colorless energy card, and anything else you want to attach to it. 100 damage, plus flip a coin until you get tails. This attack does 30 or more damage for each heads. And, I mean, granted it's a mega card, that's pretty stinking nice. Because not only can you use that, but if you throw down a Flip Teeny with it, for those of you who don't know, the Victini that came out in Noble Victories, which I believe they re-released in crap. What was the last black white set called? Legends Revealed or Renewed or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
The one where they re-released all the cards. Everybody knows what I'm talking, like Legendary Treasures or some crap like that. It was a stupid name. But I believe they re-released what is most commonly referred to as Flip Teeny. What it is, it's a Victini with, I believe, the Victory Star ability. And what it does is anytime your attack requires a flip, once during your turn you can re-flip that flip. Well, re-flipping this could change the game. I mean, you're going from 100 damage to 130 damage, or from 130 damage to 160 damage. I mean, that 2 hits almost everything in the game. Provided you get a favorable flip. But once again, it's a mega card, so you lose a turn when you evolve it. I mean, granted, it's only technically a stage 2, but I mean, a stage 1, but really it goes to a stage 2 when you lose that turn evolving it. So it takes you 3 turns to get it into play, technically. Which, I mean, is the real drawback to these mega cards. But, I mean, and also something that's going to hamper this Kangaskhan EX is the Pyroar that is also coming out in this series. It has the ability called Intimidating Mane, or at least that's the rough translation of it right now. And what that does is this Pokemon takes no damage from attacks of your opponent's basic Pokemon. Oh, wait a minute. I thought that said something different when I read it before.
Even so...
Do you know what that means?
Only so, most Pokemon...
Darkrai EX, Mewtwo EX, Evital EX take no damage from them.
Because it's
None.
a basic Pokemon, yep.
Those are all basic Pokemon. I mean, that's almost as good as... technically that is good as not taking damage from EX cards.
That I was going to say, that almost kills, like Xerneas with the fairy-type decks and stuff now. I mean,
luckily...
that'll kill those.
Right. Well, luckily most of those decks run the Aromatisse, so that you can use the ability that lets you move the fairy energy around.
Yeah.
And Slurpuff... I forget what his ability does. It's something with the energies. But you will need an evolved Pokemon to beat this thing. Or you need something that hinders Pyroar's ability from working. One way or the other. But I mean, from what I can tell... I mean, granted, this is still a translation of what is on the card. This will also be effective on the bench. So, Night Spear from Darkrai does nothing. It can't hit it because it's a basic Pokemon, which I mean is really nice. Its other attack isn't translated, and the power isn't listed. I'm not even going to bother reading that because it's crap. And a lot of the other things they have down here are really not translated well.
Yeah, I see the Sacred Ash, the Flame Torch, Blacksmith. Looks like Lysander gets a EX-looking support card, which is kind of cool. So it's like a full art of Lysandre, or whatever his name is. The main bad guy for Team Flare.
It's a Pokemon catcher, but it's a supporter card.
Yeah, choose one of your bench Pokemon and switch it with his or her active Pokemon. So,
and with the nerfing of Pokemon Catcher and you having to flip to use it now, they have brought out this Lysander card. I mean, it's a supporter now, so you can only use one. But, I mean, in effect, it is what Pokemon Catcher used to be.
Right. I see too that they're introducing the Dragon types into the new set as well.
I really wish they would come out with Dragon type energy for the Dragon types.
Yeah, so I'm looking and I see at least the ones that they've announced or released so far has been the Goomy line, so Goomy, Sliggoo, and Goodra.
Right. What I don't like about the actual dragon types that have come out since what? Dragons Exalted was the first deck they came out in?
I think.
Well, every single one of them has required two different types of energy to attack, which I mean isn't as hard now with the prism and rainbow energy accessibility and the multi type cards that also came out with that series, or the
Yeah,
multi-type energies.
I'm looking at these Japanese uh, translation cards, Goomy, Sliggoo, and Goodra, and I see like Goodra requires 4 energy, 1 water, 1 fire, and 2 basics. Is what it looks like. I think that's fire. Here, let me look. No, it's actually 1 water, 1 fairy. So a dragon type card, or at least as far as this particular dragon type goes, requires a water, a fairy, and 2 basic energies to perform its move.
Right.
Which looks to be Dragon Pulse, actually. So it's kind of funny you have to attach a fairy energy to something that's weak to fairies.
Right, and all the dragon types have been like that throughout the series. Either they were a dragon type, which they turned into a normal Pokemon, like the Altarias.
Yeah.
Altarias have been normal types for forever, and they just usually, at that point, they were, use colorless energy. Well, now that there's the actual dragon type, you have to use an electric and a fire, or a psychic and a dark with, like, Giratina, and God, that pisses me off.
A fairy.
Right. And like I said, it's not as hard now as it used to be, because you've got rainbow energies, you've got prism energies, you've got the multi-energies, and the multi-energies did come out tailored to the dragon, so you could use them with the sets with the set it came out with like Giratina and Rayquaza, and those were the only ones I used. I don't remember any of the other ones. Garchomp and
Latios were a part of that too.
But I mean, that was just ridiculous.
I would like to commend the Pokemon Company International and whoever they have that puts out the Pokemon TCG cards, because I find myself, anytime I walk into a retail establishment that sells them, leaving with at least a pack of cards.
Is that still Wizards of the Coast?
I think it's still Wizards of the Coast, actually. I think. Don't hold me to that, though.
I'm pretty sure it's still Wizards of the Coast. Pokemon trading card game.
So we touched on pretty much everything that we wanted to in a short amount of time. There's one thing left to touch on. Me and you were joking about it, whether we were going to actually mention this or not. It's a big phenomenon right now.
I was going to say, what the heck are you talking about?
They say it's a social experiment. I can't believe that they've gotten as far as they have, watching it pretty much all day today. Twitch plays Pokemon.
Yes, it's one of those things that most people would refer to as a guilty pleasure for the people who actually enjoy it, because it's one of those things that's really, really weird that your average person is going to look at that and say that's really freaking stupid. But it has caught on like freaking wildfire, and the Pokemon meme generators from this have just been going berserk. And, I mean, pretty much what it is I think this guy's from Australia, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And he's running, what was it, Pokemon Purple? That was called Pokemon Purple? He's running a ROM of a Gen 1 remake, which is either blue or red. And it's actually blue or red, it's not fire red or leaf green.
Yeah, it's actually the black and white.
Right.
I'm watching it now, and it's annoying as hell.
And pretty much what it is if you have to subscribe to do the actions, correct?
Something like that, yeah.
It's like what, $4.99 or something like that. If you subscribe to it for $4.99, what it does is it lets you into the pool of people who can type random commands into the chat, and whatever is the most popular command, like every 5 seconds, whatever the popular command is, which is either up, down, left, right, select, start, A or B, which are the buttons on your old school Game Boy. You hit one of those buttons, whichever happens to be the most popular one at that second. And well, imagine trying to type in the commands. Well, imagine having to type out the commands for you walking through a Pokemon game. Well, every time you have to go up, you have to type up again. Or every time you go down, you have to hit down again. Imagine trying to go through your freaking bag trying to find a revive while there's 100 other people typing, trying to get him to do something else. It's one of those things. It's really, I'm going to call it the train wreck phenomenon, where it's, you shouldn't be looking at it because it's just so weird, but you can't stop looking at it.
Apparently, there were a few things that have happened so far that are notable in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So that they made mention of one of them being it's an active community.
Yes, it is still running right now.
It's running right now. We're looking. I know I'm looking at it right now, and it's been active for 15 days, 18 hours, 7 minutes, and 13, 14, 15 seconds. So you get the gist.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been up for a little bit now, so it's not too long.
Well, 2 weeks, that's a long time for an active community like that.
Right. But for 2 weeks has flown by for me, so.
Right. It pretty much started up right after our a week after our last podcast.
Right. And they talk about, because they named the character Red in the game. It is which is fine. They mentioned how one of Red's items from in his inventory from in game is the Helix fossil,
which they do revive.
They do eventually it gets revived in the Ammonite. But early on, the Helix fossil was selected so frequently, and this is one of the some of the memes that have come up from it. It was selected so frequently that it became an inside joke among players. At times, humorously calling it a deity that the player character was constantly consulting for advice.
Mm-hmm.
Players went as far as treating the fossil as a symbol representing a sect which supports anarchy mode, while treating its counterpart, the dome fossil, which revives Kabuto, as a deity who supports democracy mode. Apparently, anarchy and democracy allows the inputs to be run smoother. If it's leaning more towards the democracy mode, the people that are hitting A, normally that selects faster. In anarchy mode, we were watching it earlier when they were in a cave, and I don't even know if they're still in the cave or not, but apparently they were just bouncing around like crazy.
Yeah, were they on Victory Road?
I think they might be, because somehow they miraculously have captured all 8 gym badges from what I read. I know as of as of Monday the 24th, they had 7 of the gyms badges. So I think at some point during this week they beat the 8th gym. So they were in a cave somewhere. I think it might have been Victory Road. Other things too have happened in the game. Certain Pokemon captured by Red during game have gained, several Pokemon have gained followings as well. 2 Pokemon that were obtained early in the game were later released in the game, which is just hilarious. Apparently, the community decided to release the starter Pokemon, which was Charmeleon, and Rattata apparently was released too.
But he was top percentage, so it was okay for him to go.
It must have been. So apparently, Charmeleon was nicknamed ABBBBBK, and Rattata was nicknamed JLVWNNO, which the community further nicknamed Abby and Jay Leno. So Charmeleon's name was Abby, and Rattata was apparently nicknamed Jay Leno.
Nice.
They were both released. The team's Pidgeot, which is pretty high leveled, was used often enough and successfully in battles. The community nicknamed it Bird Jesus. So it's just that's just some of the stuff regarding some of the Pokemon in the game. I know earlier they couldn't make up their mind as to whether I think what they say Ammonite or Amistar was out, and they couldn't pick another Pokemon. They just kept saying that that Amistar didn't have the will to battle, which was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I don't know, it says on the Wikipedia that media outlets have described the proceedings of the game as being mesmerizing, miraculous, beautiful chaos.
Which that's what the kids with Down syndrome said.
Yeah, one viewer said it's like watching a car crash in slow motion, which I can.
That is fairly accurate.
I feel that being probably the most accurate, because it's like it's crazy how this has come about, and
right. Well,
how it's such a big thing.
I'm not gonna try and make this sound like I'm speaking ill of people who have seizures, but I imagine watching on a TV screen someone who is actively having a seizure holding a Game Boy trying to play Pokemon. And I mean, just a continuous seizure through the whole thing. And that is the best I can explain to you what this looks like.
Yeah, it's just constant moving through
right
the menus, and it just keeps literally bouncing through the menus right now. Right now they're trying to select. I'm watching it right now at this very moment. Looks like they're trying to select the Pokemon that hasn't fainted.
Yeah.
They have Omastar out, whatever its name is. They have Omastar out against the Lapras right now, and it's actually winning. And for some reason, they keep bouncing between the item and fight menu. The only two items apparently are Secret Key, TM17, and TM05.
Oh, they have more TM since I was watching.
Yes, from earlier. They added 17 and 05 to the list, apparently.
Nice.
Yeah. I thought it was funny earlier when we were watching that they couldn't make up their mind if they wanted to pick up the one Pokeball that was in the corner or not.
Yeah,
I don't think they did.
No, they kept running circles around it. They never made it down to pick it up, though.
Oak, Red, this isn't the time to use that.
Yeah, I saw that message about 1,000 times.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is just, anarchy, democracy, screw that. This is just chaos. And somehow they've managed to get as far as they have.
Right. It's just one of those things where if you have absolutely no idea or concept as to what's going on, it's the stupidest thing you've ever heard in the world. But if you understand that there's literally hundreds of people at the exact same time, imagine
thousands. I think they said they got like 600,000 plus subscribers.
Oh, jeez.
And yeah, so I mean, there's just hundreds of thousands of people that have paid $4.99 to partake in this social experiment.
All right. Well, let's say, imagine if there was, let's just say 4,000 people, and they all had a DS, and they were all linked up to play the exact same game, but all the controls had to coincide to do one thing at the same time. How long would it take you to beat a Pokemon game with 4,000 people behind the controls trying to do what they wanted to do? I mean, like you said, the fact that they have beaten 8 gyms in 2 weeks it just blows my mind. Especially if you just sit and watch this for 10 minutes and they're trying to pick a single attack for the entire 10 minutes.
It says that there were 658,000 people have participated
Woof.
in this. So 658,000 people have been ripped off of $4.99 to participate.
Dude, somebody's making bank.
Yeah, whoever this dude in Australia is making money. I think they said a total of 6.5 million total views.
Well, they got one from me.
Yeah, I'm watching it. It's been on my computer all day. The channel's had over 17 million total views since it started. I think they said peak concurrent viewership, which means continuous people watching. About 120,000 people estimated have continuously watched this over and over. So it's a lot of different people watching it all at once. So yeah, it says that it's actually reached over 16 million total views. So it's there's so many stats with this thing, and it's quite popular. So I've seen people talking about it through the various social networks, Twitter, Facebook, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've watched it for. It's been on my computer for a couple hours today, and it probably won't be ever again. So
Right.
It's just an idea. It's the idea of what this is.
Right. It will be an enormous accomplishment for this 600,000 strong community to contagiously, as a group, beat the Pokemon game, if and when it happens.
Right now they're dancing in what looks like a Pokemon Center. So
sweet. All right.
Apparently they don't want to walk up to the counter. I don't know. That pretty much concludes this week's Competitively Casual podcast. So
yeah, that will be a wrap. And most likely from here on out, Competitively Casual podcasts will be uploaded on probably Friday afternoons / night to maybe Saturday, Sunday-ish, depending on what time we can all get together and have a good time.
Absolutely.
So, for the Competitively Casual Pokemon podcast, this is Tup Tuppleton.
And Ricochet.
And we will catch you on the flip side. Peace out.
Peace out. This Twitch Plays Pokemon's got you razzled.